Welcome to another episode of Pitstop Fracas. My name is Mahad, and this week we'll be providing you with that much needed respite from all that European Super League talk, and we'll be talking about the best Super League in the world, Formula One. Before we get started, just a reminder to all our listeners and viewers, follow us on Twitter at Pitstop Fracas, no spaces. If you're not following us on Twitter, I have no idea what you're doing, what you're playing at all. We'll give you all the insights and all the news on F1 and banter at the same time, so it's the perfect combination. Also, on the link on our bio on Twitter is our Discord. If you don't know what Discord is like a community that you can join. It's like a large WhatsApp group, and you can do anything you want on there. And we are on there as well, our Pitstop Fracas group. So if you want an alternative commentary to Martin Brundle and Crofty, we are that alternative voice for F1. So make sure on Race Day you sign up and join us on there as well. And finally, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. That really helps us out. Just a quick like on the bottom below, and subscribe, and then you can get all the content from the Touchdown Media Group. So if you're interested in basketball, we've got Courtside. If you're interested in boxing, we've got Ringside Fracas. And we've got all the football content you need as well. So make sure you like and subscribe to the video. It really help us out. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure you leave a review for us as well. That will help us out as well. On today's pod, I'm joined by 4 lovely members of the Pitstop family. So first, Nam, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Just missing the FIA Super League, or formerly known as F1. So I'm just waiting for that to come back. And then we'll be obviously discussing that, but we've got a lot on this podcast we need to go through. So yeah, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, man, we got a lot going on this pod, man. I know it's not race week, but we always got that content here, man. Weekly. You know how we do at Pitstop Fracas. Next, Kwame, how we doing?
I'm good, brother. I'm feeling myself, just gonna first show this week, so I've got energy. And listen, the Miami GP news comes aside. I want to go with Miami. Pitstop, Fracas on tour. Let's go. Yeah, let's talk about it.
You know the vibes. Honestly, look, fresh trim. We're gonna be out there. Hope you lot are gonna be out there. Hopefully, we'll have a live show. You never know, but we're gonna get into a little bit more of that. Martin, welcome back. You ain't been back since the first episode, brother. You're a stranger.
I know. Busy with uni, man. But I'm back now. Got a bit of a calm week, so I'm back now.
How are you finding the F1 season so far?
Yes, been good. It's been good. It's been, as I said, I think I did predict this a while back, that Max will be giving Hamilton a run for his money, and yeah, it seems to come true. Got Max on clairvoyant out here, man.
That's what I'm saying, man. Predictions before even the season started. No one's there, but we didn't even see the cars by then, did we? This is that's this is what I'm saying. Martin's seeing into the future.
Mystic Marks, that's what we call me.
Mystic Marks. That's it, man. That's the name, man. Finally, Richard, how we doing, man?
I'm not too bad, bro. I'm not too bad. No, I'm looking forward to Portsmouth next weekend. Definitely looking forward to Miami next year as well. You're definitely going to see all of us here, especially me. And we're definitely going to see, Mahad with his Dior's on his 20,000 ones. I won't say no further what he's going to do with those 20,000 ones, but if you know, you know. So, yeah, catch us out there.
Listen, listeners, viewers, I will not be wearing any of those things. I'll be wearing Crocs and a Casio with a pina colada. So that's where you'll catch me in Miami. Yeah, on to Miami. Kind of sneaked in the news with all the chaos of Imola last week was the announcement that Formula One's going to Miami next year from 2022, 10-year contract, brand new track, and it will be the second race that's going to be stateside now. So currently we've got Austin, Texas, and now we've added this Miami GP onto the calendar. And firstly, I just want to get, they've actually done a digital rendering of this track. So what we'll do is we'll put the link to the video along with this on our Twitter page if you haven't seen the track yet. It kind of looks okay to me. I'm always up for new tracks and some new types of things going on. But Nam, I'm going to come to you first. What's your thoughts on the location, the track?
Well, Well, let's start first with the location. Location's perfect for F1 if we have to think about it. It's good all year round weather. It's got great scene, great kind of like destination as well. In regards to the track, I think the track itself, the layout, I think it's fine. It's good. It's got great overtaking spots. It's got different conditions, kind of like some really harsh braking zones, some slow corners and some really fast straights. My only concern I have is it's technically in a car park. So and history dictates that Formula One races in car parks, for example, Vegas, all those years ago, don't necessarily turn out to be good races. Um, so that's the only concern. But I assume that the Formula One has learned from that. They've obviously got the guy who does all the tracks, who does all the new tracks to design this one. So it should have good elements for racing. But yeah, my only concern that's in a car park, but I'm sure they got that figured out.
Yeah, I think the reason I read on the F1 website, the reason they put it in the car park is that you could see it from the Hard Rock Stadium at the top, and it's that you could see every bit of the track from the top to the car park.
Yeah.
Still a bit, it's in a car park.
Mm.
Bit strange that it's in a car park and it's not just like its own separate thing elsewhere and they built it from scratch. But I think they kind of want it to be a kind of street track feel, kind of like how Albert Park is in Australia. But we'll see how that goes. I'm going to come to you, Richard, on this. Obviously, they're putting 2 tracks in America. We've seen Drive to Survive get set up over there in America. Is this kind of like a ploy to get more American viewership and increase the fan base for Formula One in America, do you think?
Yeah, 100%, definitely. We've already seen, the 3 seasons of Drive to Survive, how much it's taken off, like, not only just here, but all over the world, especially with America as well. So, of course, the thing is with America, obviously, there's like 300 million odd people over there. And we've only been going to, Circuit of the Americas for God knows how long. So, of course, obviously, back in the day, we had, like, I think Detroit, Las Vegas.
Indy.
Indiana,
yeah. Obviously, there was New York was rumored a good decade ago, and then them plans kept flopping as well. That would have been, I think, good as well for the boosting up the F1's like market rep, if you will. But yeah, it's now going down to Miami, down to South Beach. I don't know what the general consensus is with F1 down there, but we all know Miami, loves a party and loves the atmosphere sort of thing. So there'll definitely be an atmosphere at least, and with the track itself, it does look quite good. So this is definitely a good stage to enhance its reputation in America, Formula One, and to get more fans on side. Because if you get more fans on side, then of course the sport can generate more money and whatnot. So yeah, I definitely think it's a good idea.
Yeah, we've seen.
Yeah, I just wanted to follow from what Richard was saying. I'm a bit like a nerd for this, and I looked a bit more into like why probably Miami, and yeah, what you find is F1 is like one of the fastest growing sports like in popularity. I think like more than any other league, any other sports league in the world at this moment in time. So I think it's grown over about 100% for the last couple of years or whatever it is. And obviously the big part of that is the viewers from across the world and obviously Liberty Media taking over. And I feel like they've done 3 things over the past. Is they've really tried to well, not 3 things, but they tried this one thing using social media as a way of exploiting to get more fans. And Miami's just like the perfect place for social media. Like if you think about it, you got your influencers plus your social media. You'll be able to create that. It's a win-win. They want more younger viewers and they want more American viewers. It's going to just bring it all together eventually. And as Rich said, it'll just help generate more funds for the sport. internationally.
Yeah, that's a great point, Martin, especially with Liberty Media. They've done quite a lot of trying to like expand the reach of F1, and we're seeing it with their social media interactions. They're actually targeting quite a lot of the younger generation, and I'm actually seeing that in person as well when I speak to family members and friends, younger brothers and sisters. They're actually watching Formula One now. So I know there's kind of like a lost generation of people that don't watch Formula One, but now we're starting to see that pick up with that, the under 16s and under 17s. And Liberty Media is going to try to take advantage of that in America as well. So that's a really good point.
What'll be interesting is where they put Miami on the calendar. I've just done some research. So in this calendar, it was the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, which was during spring break. So if they was to put Miami there, that might actually be quite interesting.
Yeah, from what it seems like, from what I've read, is they're going to put it with alongside Canada, because Canada's with the European selection as well. So it means that you don't have to go to America twice, because Kota also is towards the end. So they're trying to play with Canada. Means you don't have to do a long ass trip. They're usually from Canada back to Europe, just stay in North America. So that's what I saw.
Yeah. So spring break, baby.
Yeah, listen, pit stops there. First of all, listeners or viewers, we are going to be at the Miami GP. F1, if you're watching this right now and you need to sponsor us, we'll be happy for a private jet. So just bring that through. We'll be over there. No problem. We'll have the banners out. We'll do a live show. We're going to be there. But Pit Stop on Tour, coming soon, 2022. We might just make that like our little yearly annual trip over there, especially if the race is good. But it looks like if they do it in spring break, it's going to pop off, honestly. But logistically, like Kwame just said, they're kind of doing it back to back with Canada. Kind of makes sense. Stops the traveling. And you can see now that they're pushing for more races anyway. I'm thinking what's got to go. I know this is not something that most people are speaking about, but okay, let me come to you, Martin. What track needs to go on the calendar?
The track I'd like to see go would be Abu Dhabi, but that's obviously out of the cards because that's another huge track that probably generates them a lot of money over time. So it will probably be one of the European circuits. Maybe something like, will they still keep Imola on for next year's season? Who knows? It'll definitely be one of the more European tracks. Try and make it more international rather than just more of a European base. I mean, we've got a few back-to-backs we had a few got two in Italy. We're probably going to get another one. Obviously, I think they're adding Turkey to replace Canada this year, but that's obviously not going to be there next year. And there's always talk of racetracks not really wanting to continue. There's rumors that maybe Canada doesn't really want to continue. There's other tracks across the world that sometimes they're a bit iffy about whether they want to actually take on the race because it's expensive and then sometimes the tracks aren't really making that much money from it. So it just depends. I think it depends how the Miami one goes. I think you'll see, and then it could also be the Circuit of Americas because that one is like not really drawing the fan attention that F1 really wants for as big as the track it is. Because I think for NASCAR and IndyCar, it could get something close to like 300,000 a day. But I think F1's getting 300,000 over the 3 days or something. So it's really not really getting the attention that they really need. So it could be possibly that other American track disappears, which might not bode well for American viewers, but especially like the hardcore American viewers. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Marks, on your first point. Bin Abu Dhabi. I know they're never ever going to bin it, but I've had enough of that Westfield car parks of a track. I need it gone, and I don't want to. The sadness that I'm feeling in my heart about Canada possibly disappearing. I love Canada. That can't disappear at all. Please let it be Sochi or something like that. Last point on about America and them trying to increase their reach over there. Kwame, I'm going to come to you. Do you think we're going to start seeing more drivers come out of the United States because of this? Because of this whole influx?
I mean, hopefully, but I doubt it. I mean, for the short term, especially, I doubt it. There's something that some bit. I don't want to research this. I like this topic, but I think the issue is over there. They've got their own premier sports in motorsports in IndyCar and NASCAR. So it's more of finding a way to transfer the IndyCar and NASCAR fans into Formula One, into the feeder series here in Europe. And the issue is the feeder series here in Europe is quite expensive. So, for example, currently in F3, there's only one American driver in Logan Sargent, came third last year, but he's struggling to find a seat at the moment because of funding. I can't think the team on top of my head, but it's in one back markers instead of being the top four that it should be. And you've had previous drivers like Alexander Rossi, who was a test driver in Caterham and Russia. I'm not sure if you remember him, but he tried to break into the low back end of F1, Caterham Russia, both of them broke, so he had to go back to America, and he won the Indy 500 and has been a title contender there. So it seemed like even the drivers trying to break through here, a lot of them have been better over there. So hopefully, I think in the long term we can. Hopefully, this can attract fans, attract a wider eye to F1, to the younger generation. Because if you try to get the old generation as well, like a lot of the drivers there are comfy. So you've got people like, say, Scott Dixon, Pagenaud, them guys are winning IndyCar. So it's kind of no point for them to go to switch from IndyCar where they're winning to come to Europe, in F1, and then they're probably not going to get a top seat because that's going to go to the young drivers and more experienced F1 drivers. So that discovery for the bottom up, and it's not worth it. Just look at Grosjean, for example. That's my perfect example. I know he's not American, he's French, but he was in Haas. The Haas team is dry. We know how dead they are. He's gone to America, and first qualifying race he got top 10. First race got top 10. So that just shows the levels mapping between F1 and IndyCar. So
isn't that the one the McLaren just signed? He's American, isn't it? The young kid, the 13-year-old.
Oh yeah, Hugo. Yeah, Hugo. That's Hugo. So big up Hugo, black brother from America, McLaren side, and that's a good example. Hopefully, because he's in the European side. So he's in the European karts side, and he was previously with Sauber as well, even. So someone like him hopefully could come through the ranks in the European motorsport, win the titles here, and then from there can get plugged. But the issue is a lot of the guys are too comfy over there because they've got their own Indy Lights thing and whatnot. They've got their own feeder series. So if you can plug the talent from there to here, rise them up through F3, F2, then they can hopefully grow.
Yeah, Hugo, we've got big hopes for Hugo. I think he's 13 years old, signed from McLaren. Yeah. I think he's a Nigerian American. We hope that he turns into the next star boy to just carry on, Lewis's legacy and continue to piss off Gammon, Twitter, and Brexit, England. We need that. We need more people of color in Formula One. So hopefully he rises to the challenge and ends up there. But we look forward to Miami. We're gonna be there, like I said, and hopefully it's actually a good race. But we saw a lot of negative kind of feedback on the race on the track when it first got put out, the digital rendering of it. But I personally think it's going to be a good track, so we look forward to it next year. We'll go to the next point that we wanted to cover on the pod. This is a new section. I'm going to bring this out. We're going to bring it out maybe every quarter, every 2-3 months, because I feel like we need to shed a light. We're not ageist on this pod. And we've started with what we call the OAP Corner. So the OAP Corner consists of Alonso, Kimi Räikkönen, and Vettel. Some people are thinking, Vettel, he's too young. He shouldn't be in the OAP Corner. He's driving like an old man. So he's hearing it. So until he proves himself, he can remove himself from OAP Corner. But this is where we check in every 2-3 races and just see, okay, how they're getting on, what's going on with them, what's happening. So first point on the OAP Corner that I want to introduce. The first question I actually want to ask. I'm going to come to you, Martin, on this. How's Alonso fared in his first couple of races back in F1? You're on mute, Mark.
I thought you were going to ask me about Vettel for a second. Alonso. The more of a hate relationship I have with him. No real love. I've never really felt any love for Alonso. I think he retired at a perfect time, and then we gave him the perfect farewell, and then he came back and ruined it. I think he got a perfect farewell. Everyone gave him that, and he just come back and ruined it. And Alpine haven't got the greatest car. I mean, Renault is just struggling with that power unit. I think they're struggling with everything on that car. Everything on that car looks like it's struggling, and he's meant to come in to make them better and to give them that needed expertise in the handling of the cars and stuff. But he's on his Kimi vibe, really. He's just here for the check and just to. It's like he had, that thing where the, soldiers, when they come back from war and they really miss war, like they can't retire. That's what Alonso has. What? He retired, and like he just wants to go back up. He just missed it. He can't sit still for a second. Yeah, but it's like, as I say, it's like them soldiers. Like sometimes soldiers, they go to war. They feel very comfortable out there getting shot at. When they come back, it's just like they can't readjust back to society. So they rather go back out to war. And that's literally the same thing Alonso has. There's no reason for him to be here. He's taken someone younger seat. There's so much other drivers. I'd rather see Hulkenberg, to be honest, come back and take his seat anyway. But beside the point.
Yeah, it's looking tight for him. He's not even performing over Ocon. One DNF, 10th place as well. Not really a 10th place because of Kimi's penalty points, 30-second penalty, but it's not looking good. And for 20 mil, you're expecting much better.
He hasn't even been good in qualifying, which is something that he's known for. He's not been good in qualifying either. I think he hasn't. Has he got into Q3 yet? I don't think he's got into Q3 yet either.
No, he got into Q3 in the first race in Bahrain.
Yeah,
he did. Right, yeah. But yeah, like last one, he was just poor, and he just couldn't get any pace out of the car. Just could not get any pace out of the car for Alpine. But as I said, I think it's a mixture of both. Why they're doing bad. But yeah, it's just not looking good for him. It's meant to be your comeback season, and it's really like you should just stayed away, to be honest.
It doesn't look like you have a healthy relationship, Martin. I don't think you rate Alonso, from what I'm understanding right now. Actually, do you know what? On the back of that, Nam, I'm going to come to you. Do you think Alonso should have come back?
It's a loaded question. I think he had to come back on the basis of what Renault were trying to do, or Alpine were trying to do. So you have to look at the young drivers that are coming up, right? For Alpine. So you got Oscar Piastri, and you got I can't remember what the Chinese race is called. I can't even say his name, but there's a Chinese driver.
Yeah,
That's it. Guan Yu Zhou. So I look at Alonso's place in that team, like how Michael Schumacher went to Mercedes, where he essentially was there to develop the car, to give a lot of info and experience to a team that has kind of transformed and is looking to potentially challenge for titles again. So I look at it that way, where he's probably just there to fill some time in order for those two drivers to essentially become good enough to challenge, and then he would then gracefully leave F1 again. And they also probably are looking at Ocon and hoping that Ocon could develop with the team and become the driver that they're expecting him to be. And if that doesn't work, then you've still got someone who's there who could guide some of these young drivers through. Go on.
So I was just going to ask, do you think he's more here for the development of next year's car then? So obviously they gave him the 2-year.
I don't think he's here for racing. He's not here to win the title. That is for certain.
I mean that's clear, yeah. But
yeah, I think he's more here to like develop the car, obviously with kind of the rule changes that are going to be coming as well. I think he's just there to be the experienced championship head that has the ability to provide great insight, and also to kind of work with the younger drivers. You'd be surprised. I'm gonna expect when it comes down to when it's young driver, the young driver training days. We're gonna see Alonso still there talking to Pistari and Gio, and kind of giving the insight and kind of walking them through it. So yeah, he's just there to fill a gap for right now, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll say.
I've got one quick question though.
Go on.
We say this a lot, and I mean, this is the OAP corner, so this is a perfect question for this. At one point does your titles lose their credentials? Like, you can't carry that title clout forever to carry into teams. We've seen it, people saying it with Vettel. We're hearing it with Alonso. I mean, Kimi not really, but you can even say it for him as well. At what point in their careers, these guys haven't won in the past 7 years. Now, Vettel 7 years, Alonso's over 10 years. Kimi is 15, 14 years now. At what point does that title cred no longer get you that clout that you need to? I mean, because you can't say you're designing a title challenging car when you haven't been a title challenger for over 10 years now.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but they've still done it, right? So they still have the ability to. They still have the ability to.
Yeah, but Wenger done it, but he couldn't do it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, Wenger did it in the past, but he couldn't do it anymore.
But who says that? Who says that Kimi Räikkönen and Alonso and Vettel can't do it? They've just been in terrible cars. That's the issue. They've just been in terrible cars for the last 10
Alonso
or so years.
When Alonso was at Ferrari, he had a good Ferrari car, and he didn't do it. He couldn't do it.
But Mercedes had an amazing car, and so it's.
Listen. I think this. Yeah. If you want a title,
even Vettel as well.
That's it. There's no expiry dates on titles. That's in there. That's in the history book. That's there.
It's because they're still racing. Yeah, but when they retire,
you can win your title. That's fine. But what I'm saying is, at what point do you not get that? How are you expected to create a title challenging car when you haven't been title challenging for the past? It's in the hybrid area as well. So it's not like to say you've won it in the hybrid area. This is you win it in the V10 or V12 area.
I haven't ridden a bike for at least 6 years, but I can still teach someone how to ride a bike. It's the same principle.
Yeah, but you can teach someone to ride a bike, but that's the basics. You can teach someone how to drive a car. Yeah, Alonso can mentor the young guys. That's fine. But to create a title challenging car, to say what you need for a title challenging car, I don't think these men have it anymore.
But then that's like saying sorry, just one quick point here, and then I'll leave it. That's just like saying Pep Guardiola shouldn't be actually not Pep, because Pep has won stuff. But like,
as I said, it's like a Wenger thing. It's a Wenger thing. He's done it in the past. That's fine. But I wouldn't trust Wenger to build a title challenging team right now, because I don't think he can do it.
But if you gave Wenger 500 million on a transfer window, I'm sure, and not at Arsenal, I'm sure he could do something. But we're going off topic.
We've had enough Alonso now. First of all, yeah, Alonso won his titles. I don't think there's an expiry date to titles, but I don't agree with paying 20 million for a driving instructor. That's a bit mad. We're not on that. We're not on that in Pitstop Fracas. That's not the thing that we should be doing here. We'll go on to another person on OAP Corner. I'm going to come to you, Richard. We're going to talk about a gentleman called Vettel. There was big fanfare. I read an article in GQ the other day, and they were saying, Vettel's going to bring back revenge for the faithless Ferrari. Ferraris, they're going to be Aston Martin's going to be the Ferrari of the British driving, whatever. It's all hogwash anyway, because it's come to pass that Aston Martin's in the mud, and especially Vettel's in the mud. We're looking at Stroll outperforming him twice now. Why is Vettel getting dusted by Stroll?
To be honest with you, he's been having little bits of bad luck here and there, to be honest with you. And also, He's started a new team. Like we can't just be writing off people like, well, not us, but one of our cast members writing off Daniel Ricciardo after 2 races, and then we're writing off Vettel after 2 races, and then other people were giving them grace like Checo and whatnot. Like, come on, it needs to be consistent all over the board. With Vettel, he's been having like stuff like his quality getting ruined with Mazepin turning into a Beyblade merchant. He's had issues with his gearbox as well. Was it a gearbox or something? In the last race,
I think it was brakes. I think it was brakes.
He's been having issues like that as well. And plus, also, it's a new team as well. You'll just need a while to get settled in. It's like that with all the drivers with the new teams and with all the rookies as well. They just need time to get settled in. You can't expect everyone to just hit the ground running. It's almost like that with like footy players as well. You can't expect your new signers to hit the ground running, even if you pay like 60 mil for them. Sometimes they need 6 to 12 months to get settled in. Obviously, with Formula One, it's a bit different. You want them to make an impact a bit quicker. But I'd give all these men at least a summer break, just to give them time with the simulator, just to give them time with how, if the team is even built around them. Because it could be the case, I assume, like with Aston Martin, they're building the team around him in some ways, especially if you're paying him, what was it, like 12 mil a year or 15 mil? I don't even know. Whatever X amount of money it is. Yeah, paying them that sort of money. I expect, even though, Lance is there and his dad obviously owns the team's going to be built around Vettel because he's got the equity of being a 4-time world champion. But at the same time, I'm not going to rub him off, like write him off straight away. Like he's even after, I think, the restart, he was getting faster slaps and whatnot. I don't know what the context is that he was getting faster slaps, but it shows me that he was showing some sort of pace anyway. And he was getting, stuck behind a couple cars and whatnot, and then faltering behind. But I don't know if it's just him just getting used to it or just one of those things. As I said, with all these, man, I'm willing to give them time. I'm not going to jump in their back with agendas and whatnot. At the end of the day, there's still people like fucking Bottas who's been in that car for 4 years, and you think he just came from IndyCar. Like, how even a Mercedes?
Hallelujah.
And you're qualifying 8th, and then you're not even making any developments in places. You drop down to 10th, and then George goes to dunk on you. Okay, give it the crash wasn't his fault, but I think in some ways Bottas is glad that he crashed into him, because how embarrassing would that clip have been of Russell passing Bottas? That would have been played everywhere. It would have been all over his DMs, all over his apps, all over his WhatsApp groups, everything. He doesn't want that. Like, he's in some ways glad that he crashed into him. That's what I feel anyway. I know it sounds ridiculous, but he's thinking the bigger picture.
No, Richard, you're preaching.
Do you know what I mean?
Richard come out of nowhere with the Bottas dunking. I rate it. It needed to happen, because them visuals, if that actually happened,
it
with
depends
the Williams
well,
overtaking him.
Go on, Martin.
So I was just going to say, in defense of Vettel as well, we're hearing all this about the Aston Martin car and the problems that it's having because of this low downforce cars.
Because obviously they run a low rate, just like Mercedes do.
Exactly. So it's only them and Mercedes having that problem. So you can't really blame Vettel for when you're getting used to the car in a COVID era where you don't have that much time to practice or get into the car as much as you would normally before. And then so there's a bunch of things going against Vettel this season as why he hasn't settled in properly. So he has a bit more excuses than, say, other drivers on the track. He's already dunked on Bottas, so I won't dunk on him again. So we'll let him live.
Listen, we're dunking on Bottas because a certain Kunle is not here. So he's the number 1 member of the fan club. So we will continue to throw alley-oops on Bottas throughout this pod. So don't worry about 100%. That. But yeah, you made a really good point, Richard and Martin, on this. We kind of need to give these guys a reprieve just for a little bit. He's in OAP corner just because of circumstance, because of how washed he was last year.
We're not giving Alonso a reprieve, I'm sorry.
We're not giving Alonso a reprieve.
I'm sorry, he deserves it. I know he's had 2 years out, but still, agenda's got an agenda, man. Honestly,
okay,
he deserves it. You can't be qualifying P9 and saying, "Look, we're going to dunk on signs in them in front of us," and then Vettel's coming out to nowhere, half washed, spinning you in, putting you in the mud. Like, what's all that about? No, I'm not having it, man. And 20 mil a year, come on.
20 mil a year is a bit nuts. But what
Max isn't even on 20 mil a year.
I know. No, I think Max is a little 25. But anyways, that's still just he's the third highest paid driver on the grid, and he, like I said, he's a driving instructor. It's a bit mad. Anyways, I'm gonna ask the person, the forgotten OAP, Kimi Räikkönen, the skeleton of Kimi Räikkönen, still in F1, collecting checks, just here. Actually looks the Alfa Romeo actually looks good. He's looking a bit racy, especially the last race. He looked good. Kwame, I'm gonna come to you on this. Who do you think scores more points? Kimi, Vettel, or Alonso at the end of the season?
This is a tough question. I'm just going to go through all three of them quickly, and then I'm going to cover my opinion. I feel like with Kimi, I think you're probably the lowest out of the bunch, even though the Alpha hasn't made improvements. Like, Mahad said, they were in for the points in the last race in Imola. I don't know. I just haven't really got faith in the team and the car. And Kimi, as well, out of the three, seems like he's got the least to race for. He's just there, just vibes. We know his thing, just a hobby. I feel he's just there, just having fun with it. But don't get me wrong, we know how Kimi is. All jokes aside, we've seen how Kimi is in those days. He was very fast. He's a former champion. That first season in Ferrari and McLaren days, he was impressive. So we know there's driver in there who can come up with something. But I thought he can come the bottom out of them three. There's between, for me, Vettel and Alonso. And I feel like at the moment, Alonso's better than Vettel. But I feel like Vettel's got a better car. And because of my prediction, I'm going to have my faith in Vettel. I feel like hopefully over time he gets used to the car. He's got a faster car, so there's a head start than Alonso. So I'm going to predict Vettel, but I feel like Alonso's been a better driver than Vettel's got a point as well. And but I think it'll be tied between Vettel and Alonso, but I'll give it to Vettel.
Yeah, all right. I think we will be returning to OAP Corner. I'll tell you that now. But for now, we're just going to give him a couple more races, see how it goes, see how it pans out.
I think he's rubbing up on Giovinazzi as well, because Giovinazzi's started really well this season. I can't lie. He got into Q2 the other day, almost going to Q3 in the Alfa Romeo. So Kimi's probably rubbing off on him a bit.
Yeah, the Alpha's definitely made progress. That Ferrari power unit's looking good, especially with Ferrari making progress as well. Let's not speak on another Russian conglomerate we call Haas, aka I don't know whatever names they're going to be. If the listeners and viewers aren't aware, there's been rumors that Haas are going to be overtaken by Dmitry Mazepin, who is Nikita Mazepin's dad. So we might be looking at a Russian-owned team on the grid soon. But yeah, that's all for OAP Corner. We will be back, honestly. We will be back, especially if I'm hosting. On to the next point, what we wanted to talk about on today's pod was Mercedes versus Red Bull. It's hotting up. I know it's only been 2 races, but it looks like we might have an actual title contention on our hands going on with constructors and drivers. So I know there was a lot of talk pre-season about Red Bull Honda engine being moved forward from 2022 to now, and the progress they've made, and the technical regulations hampering Mercedes with their rake and the low downforce and so on and so on. Kwame, I'm going to come to you. How do you think these things pre-season is panning out on the F1 grid at the moment with Mercedes and Red Bull?
I think it's very interesting. It's very interesting. It's made the competition between Mercedes and Red Bull very tight. So yeah, I'm just gonna go through the engine. I feel like the engine freeze. I mean, the teams voted on it. So now the teams can really get mad. But obviously, Honda then putting up F1 meant that the teams decided to vote on engine freeze to allow the regulation to be pushed back to 2025. And that means that no changes on the engine. So luckily, that meant that for Honda, they could have brought the changes that they were thinking of doing in 2022 forward to this year. In the fact that because there's no reg change, everything should be legal. So that technically gave them a healthy advantage of this year. And it seems like as well, Red Bull taking this engine thing very, very seriously. The car, like I said, off the pod, they got Hodgkinson, who was the ex-chief of Mercedes engine. And they've also got input from Honda consultants as well, who will stay on for the team much longer. So it looks like they're here for the long haul. It looks like here they can improve. And what I said on the group chat, I'll take back, because listen, in the past we've seen Born GP where they put all their stocks in 2009 and they also dropped out. And even though they won a championship that year, they did fall towards the end, and 2010 after that was dead. And it's on until Mercedes money kicked in, then boom. And with the FIA, the FIA have shed Mercedes big time. I can't remember talking on the last pod, I think it was JO, not them. But yeah, big of you guys have been perfectly car. The barge boards, they changed the barge board regulation, so barge was a bit at the bottom of the car for those who don't know. So they've changed regulation with that, and that regulation has been favored of the highway cars. So they're the cars that essentially who are higher off the ground. So that's basically Red Bull and AlphaTauri. So hence why them two cars being faster this year as well. And it means that the cars that are lower on the ground, so the Mercs and the Aston Martin, will be much lower. And I feel like, I can't lie, I feel like they targeted at Merc because they knew that Mercedes have been dominating the sport, and there's been a lot of complaints about fans saying, this is annoying, this is boring, and also Aston Martin as well, who people might be cheating. And this went to be the year the regulation would change if it weren't for COVID. So I felt they had a little something just to spark it. And I felt the reason why Mark's been better than Aston is because they've got better engineers. So because they've got better engineers, they can change it. And there'll be 1 or 2 changes I've seen from like the barge board and the body itself. Whilst Aston Martin, same with them, little changes, but like because it's not their car, as you said, they've copied it. They are struggling more behind, and they haven't got the engineers on level with Mark. So that's why we're seeing people like Vettel and Stroll nowhere near as good as they were last year coming off this regulation. So I think it'll be here to stay. I think it'll be tight between the two. I don't think for this year don't change anything, and it'll be very good to see rivalry between Red Bull and Mercedes.
Yeah, that is a really good point, especially with how the FIA just actually targeted Mercedes. We don't usually see that, but it's kind of plain and clear. And Toto's made his feelings felt, especially in certain interviews in Bahrain where they said, "Look, this is only affecting us." Aston Martin's basically the unlucky victim of it. But do you know what, Aston Martin? Listen, if you copy homework and you don't know how to solve it, it's your own problem, innit? That's what I'm saying. So you're just gonna catch it L that way. But hopefully Mercedes can recover from these regulations targeting them, and we can see an actual battle going on, because it could go quickly downhill for Mercedes if they can't recover from the situation. But we're seeing Lewis outperform the vehicle anyway. I'm going to come to you now on the next question. Is Mercedes' title, constructors' title, in jeopardy? The streak they've got, because they've won 7 years in a row, I think, or 8.
Yes, and it's only down to one person and one person only. Valtteri Bottas. He is not going to drive anywhere good enough in order for Mercedes to get the points that they need. And as a result, we're going to see Red Bull, which would, like, when I made the predictions, I thought Aston Martin was going to be probably a challenger, but obviously because of the regulation and just how things are going, it's probably not going to be them. But it's probably going to be Red Bull, because we're going to see Perez finish more races higher and full than we are going to see Bottas. And I'll continue my agenda from last week with the fact that I think that Bottas is just not a I don't think people like the word, like what I said last week of calling him a dangerous driver, but I just don't think he's a competent driver enough in order for him to complete enough races. And therefore, Mercedes are just not going to win the constructors. He's the next race is Portimao, which is a windy track. We're going to see a Bottas problem there. And then we've got our street races of Monaco, Azerbaijan, and Canada after that. And again, we're just going to see a lot of more problems there. So, yeah, all in all, I don't see Mercedes winning the constructors this season. They just can't do it. Hamilton can't do it by himself. You need your 50 points across the two drivers. And if you've got Verstappen, who's probably going to consistently be around first, second, third, and Perez will probably be about third, fourth. it doesn't bode well for Mercedes.
Yeah, it's not actually looking good for Mercedes in terms of constructors. I predicted pre-season that Red Bull would win constructors just because of the addition of Perez and just because he's a better driver than Bottas. Bottas is not going to, in my eyes, could provide that support that Lewis needs in terms of race strategy or even just points. Now we're just seeing him languish in 8th in qualifying. This is not the type of thing that you would expect in a Mercedes, especially when your counterpart and Lewis in the same car is getting P1s in qualifying. So it's looking shaky. And Perez hasn't had the best of starts at Red Bull as well. I'm going to come to you, Richard. Who's a bigger liability for the team, Bottas or Perez?
I've got to say Bottas, man. Definitely, I've got to say Bottas. I mean, I think probably over the season, we might see the case of Checo will perform better than Bottas, but the reason we may see Bottas finish higher in the standings is because of reliability. I feel that I have this weird feeling about the Honda engine that as good as it is, because it's been brought forward a year, it may go through reliability problems. Like we've already seen that within qualifying. We've already seen that within practice as well. We're yet to see that now in a race, and there's no guarantees to say that it won't happen in a race as well. It could be the case of let's say Max is leading, I don't know, Interlagos or something, I don't know. And then all of a sudden his engine conks out and then Lewis takes charge of that. That could be, a title swing later down the line. So I see possibly the same thing happen to Checo as well. But in terms of Checo, if you was to ask me who's been more reliable in the last 8 years or whatever, I'd definitely say Checo, especially based on the machinery that they've got as well. With Bottas, he's been underwhelming since he's got to Mercedes. He hasn't even hit double figures in wins, and this is his 5th season now. Do you know what I mean? That's extremely underwhelming for someone who's a second driver, especially when you compare it to someone like Nico Rosberg, who got I think it's 20 odd wins or 30 odd wins, whatever. Who wasn't as talented as Lewis, but was willing to push him all the way constantly, even if he was to use dirty tactics and whatnot. Yeah, with Bottas, if he's going to put performances like he did in Imola, then Red Bull have got the constructors in the bag possibly, because he can't be doing that and expect to see for next year, not especially with George breathing down his neck. If he wants to prove his worth that he deserves to be in the top team and deserves to race for Mercedes and help them win the constructors, he needs to be putting better performances in, and he can't be using excuses like, I had no temperatures in my tires and all stuff like that. It's just not good enough anyway. So if that number 2 season as well at Red Bull is not as case as what we think it is, it should be the case of that Checo should perform better than Bottas. But whether he finishes higher in the table, unless reliability kicks in, we don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be up in the air. I think it's gonna be a battle between reliability and performance between the Honda and the Mercedes this year in terms of engine and the actual teams. So we'll see what happens and how it falls out. But what I finally wanted to ask about is the battle between Max and Lewis. So Lewis got the pole, got the win. Didn't get the pole. Max got the pole. Lewis got the win in Bahrain, and Lewis got the pole, and Max got the win in Imola. It's looking like an actual real title challenge. Martin, I'm going to come to you. Is it hype, or is this real?
No, that wasn't hype, man. That race in Imola shocked me. I've never seen someone overtake Lewis like that in wet conditions. Now, Lewis is synonymous for being one of the best drivers, especially in the wet. And what Max did in the opening corners was something that not even Rosberg's ever tried. He really just went wheel to wheel with Lewis and literally made Lewis back out. I think it was on turn 3 or 4. And just took the place from him and just never lost it. Even with the safety cars and everything that was happening, Max just never lost it. And Lewis could have probably taken over if he didn't make the mistake. But for Max to drive such a solid race, which is something that in the past I think we've all criticised him on, where we say he'll sometimes have his chance, but he won't take it, and he could be performing a lot better. I think this time he's really said, listen, this is the best. I think he's really put his trust in Red Bull this year with the car, and Red Bull have given him the car that he feels that he can challenge with, and he's doing everything he can to get to that championship. I also said that it's going to be another situation of 2017 where Vettel was winning all the races in the first couple races, and then you know what happened was that when he gets to the tracks he loves, by America he'll have it wrapped up. It's that simple. I genuinely think, Go on.
Just to add on that, I think for us to watch about Max is he's not a chaser. So if we look at how he races when he's having to chase the lead, it's very impatient. It's very he's always complaining to his engineer. He's always trying to say, "Oh, this is wrong. This is wrong." He's not a great chaser. So when he came to Imola, he basically was leading the race from beginning to end, essentially. And that was comfortable for him. So now that he's in a car that's allowing him to be at the front of the grid, and we might see more. Where you're right, Martin, is when it comes to tracks, I will reserve my judgment whether I think Max is going to actually win this. I personally think he's not going to win the championship simply because of those facts. But it will be interesting to see when Max gets a penalty and he has to start further back in the grid and what he does and how he responds to that. And also as well, when we get to, like you said, the tracks that Lewis loves, the Hungaries, the Americas, the tail ends, after your Canadas, your Spas, all of those ones. Once we get there, we'll see how Max does. Personally, I have an agenda against Max and Bottas. I don't think they're two particularly good drivers. I think they've made their way into Formula One on some kind of weird merit. But with Max, I think he needs to prove himself as a chaser. You can say it's wild.
That's wild.
You can say
you can put
wild.
what I said that, but not Max. I'm sorry. That can't.
Mahad is fuming right now.
He's infuriated.
Goes to FIA to complain.
Absolutely raging.
I can't believe this.
I've shown you the evidence on Bottas, and Mahad, I've got you to even be somewhat convinced of my rhetoric on Bottas. Don't make me get the evidence book out. I don't want to bring any more damning evidence for these drivers. Just take what I'm saying.
You know what? I'm gonna let it run. I'm gonna let it run. Yeah, but when the season comes to pass and it's getting tight and Max looks like he might be winning it, I don't think he's gonna win personally. I think 8 is coming home. That's it. It's that, you know how England say it's coming home. World Cup. I'm saying 8 is coming home. That's it. But honestly, this whole Max agenda you got is legless. But I'll later on down the line, I'll cook you.
Everyone said this about Bottas, and then I'm going to be.
Don't put Bottas and Max's name in the same sentence, man.
I'm not putting them in the same sentence. But what I'm saying is, my agendas are not just agendas. I come with my evidence. I don't just scream. I say what happens. I say the uncomfortable truths. And when the uncomfortable truths come around. Everyone's gonna be like, "Wow, okay, he was right." You mark it today. You bookmark this.
Yeah, we'll bookmark this the same way we bookmarked you and your Aston Martin predictions. We'll post that on the Twitter account. It's not a problem.
Hey, there's still 21 more races. I just need FIA to change the regs, and then we'll be back, baby.
We're letting the streets know what NAM's about in terms of predictions, but it's going to be an exciting one. Hopefully, it is for all the fans. And hopefully, on my race wins, I'll be drinking more Red Bulls. So Red Bull, you can sponsor Pitstop Fracas. Soon come. So give us the money, you know how it is. Anyways, finally on the pod, we'll be previewing Portimao. That's happening next week. Something that been added to the calendar last year, and it's turning into a fan's favorite. It's actually a really, really good track. Actually, I'm gonna come back to you now on that. We're looking at the same podium last year Mercedes won too, or you got any surprise podium candidates?
We're not going to see the same podium because, like I said before, Bottas is not going to be in a position to put himself on a podium. He's just not going to be. But yeah, I enjoyed Portimao last season, and I hope it stays in the calendar for many more years to come. I think it's a nice one. If they need to get rid of a track in order to accommodate that, we can get rid of Austria. I don't think that's a race that we need. We don't need 6 corners. We need more than that.
They're not going to let Red Bull get rid of the home race.
Yeah, I know that's the only issue.
That's the Red Bull home
Red
race.
Bull money,
you can't get rid of that.
Yeah, that Red Bull money
Bull
is really spices things up. Yeah, that's the only issue. But I think if we're going to be perfectly honest, it's going to be a tight one again with Max and Lewis. I have a sneaky suspicion that maybe it'll be even tighter with Lando and Leclerc behind them, and maybe there might be an incident regarding either Lewis or Max, which would allow them onto the podium. I think it'll be a tighter race than everyone is expecting, but I'm looking forward to it. It has become one of my favorites, and yeah, it should be a good race.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. If it's as eventful as the first couple laps last year, with Sainz just like pulling out away on the front, the chaos that happened, a little bit of rain, it should be a good one. Richard, I'm going to come to you on this. Who's on fraud watch?
Boy, there's a couple man on that list still, I can't lie. There's Alonso. There's... Who else is a fraud? Bottas has been a fraud, so I don't know if he counts. He's honorary CEO. He's got, Costco membership there, and so it's a bit mad.
He's there weekly, yeah?
It's, boy.
Bang.
Fam. Buying all the bottles because he's lacking them in it. He's lacking them a lot, you get me? So, who was on for? I can't even remember. Vettel might be. Who?
Ricardo. I'm sorry.
Ricardo. You're saying Ricardo, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
We need eyes on him, boy.
Yeah. It's too early. I can't lie. It's too early. I know Kunle wants to pump that up because he's used as a Bottas deflection tactic, but it's not going to run round here. I can't lie to you. It's not going to run. Who else?
We will revisit it in the pod. We'll revisit it later on. Later on in the year, we'll revisit it.
What we're going to do, listeners, viewers, we're going to do a half-season review, and we're going to mark the drivers. And if Ricardo's carries on the way he's moving, it's going to be a bit sticky for him still. So he might be on the fraud watch. We're just going to keep an eye. We're not marking anything
watch
down.
List.
Just
Yeah.
Watch list. Keep an eye open for it, you know what I mean?
Amazon watch list.
Amazon watch list. We added it. You know what I mean? We're gonna keep an eye out. Martin, I'm gonna come to you. What do we need to watch out for in this race?
Well, we always need to watch out for every race. Mazepin. That's it.
So the prediction. What's the spin prediction?
Spinning all practice. Probably spin on the opening lap. I think he might make it. He might qualify ahead of Schumacher this time. Maybe. Hopefully he does. But listen, I know. There's a lot of people that say, "Oh, I shouldn't be giving props for it," but he completed his last race. Well done to him. So
the rules, brother.
The bar's in hell. I can't lie to you. The bar's in hell. It's in hell with Helmut Tilke and Adolf Hitler. The bar is in hell. I swear to God.
Listeners, viewers, the bar that he's just said he's completed a race. This is his achievement. And Martin is giving him accolades. He's giving him a badge. Like, well done.
You can't give
certain man struggled with foundation maths. So when they got a D, you had to give them their props, innit? They struggled.
No,
so when
but-
they got
but the
the,
bar-
Nah, you
give them their
can't.
props.
Nah.
The
Nah.
part is his
No.
part is to not spin, and he still spun. So he doesn't.
But
He doesn't get any ratings from me.
And I think the reason why he spun wasn't even his fault, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Listen,
pretty
of
sure.
course it's his fault.
He's-
He's 1 minute
he's
behind
spun-
Schumacher. There's nobody near him. What are you
He
talking about?
spun no without anyone. And besides, yeah,
Onto
the
the-
bar is too low because he still spun, right? And you're saying, oh, but he completed the race. That's because there was massive runoffs at Imola. So yeah, he didn't get tagged by the wall as when he spun. That's the only difference. The guy, I mean, let him not spin.
Exactly. That is what we have to watch out for. Portimao, Mazepin, see who he crashes into this year, if he'll crash into someone. What else we got to watch out for? And just the usual, as you said, the guys on fraud watch list. And yeah, I think the mid-table guys, they haven't really, like your mid-table drivers like Stroll, your Ocons. I want to see how they do this race because I think they've been a bit quiet in these past couple races. They haven't been making much noise. So I mean, there's high hopes for them in their respective teams. So, and I think one to watch as well, Giovinazzi. As I said, he's really picking up form. Was very pissed off that he didn't get that Ferrari seat and Sainz got it instead. And I think he might qualify ahead of Sainz. So we'll see.
That is the wildest.
No.
Wait.
Giovinazzi had
No.
one member.
Wait, we wheel that up again? Wheel that up,
That
Mods?
is it.
What do you say?
Hey, somebody needs to screenshot this. I'm
He's
gonna
going to wheel
that.
that? Wait,
front
so
of
Giovinazzi will finish ahead of
qualify
Sainz. No, he'll
Finish.
qualify. Sorry, I didn't mean
Finish.
qualify. I mean finish ahead of Sainz.
But
He'll finish ahead of
Giovinazzi.
Sainz. Giovinazzi will finish ahead of Sainz. That's my prediction for Portimao.
Yeah. That Giovinazzi pack is looking like bath salts. He's finished, bruv. Honestly, he's done out here. But Martin, we're going to bring you back. If Giovinazzi actually does it, we're going to bring you back. You can brag on the pod. It's not a problem. You know what I mean?
I can't lie. We might have to slap George on there for watching. I can't lie.
No.
Not yet.
That's
Like,
British
on the watch
heritage.
list.
Listen, I don't want our comments
Yeah,
getting
you can't
dusty.
do that to Russell. Yeah, you can't do that
Bro,
to
it's-
Russell.
Nah,
But
it's
why-
not.
listen,
That is not the views of Pitstop Fracas.
No, I do rate George, yeah, but if he keeps bottling points and opportunities, fam, it's looking a bit sticky for him still, I can't lie. If
He didn't really
keeps-
bottle it though, did he?
Yeah,
He
he
did.
did bottle it.
He
You
didn't really
got crushed.
bottle it. He was doing really well. I mean, he's keeping up
he
pace.
bottled him last year.
Huh?
So I said he bottled Imola last year, so he's got a finger bottling at Imola. So
Yeah. Well, I mean,
He made it bottle
was
last-
almost
last-
overtaking Bottas, and
Yeah.
so you'll see. We'll see. I mean,
he's on the watch list. He's not on fraud watch yet. He's on the watch list. Just
he's
like
on the
his-
same list as Ricardo.
He's on Richard's watch list. That's it. He's a one man.
I will add someone to fraud list. Just 'cause it seems like he's running way under the radar. Maybe we should even talk about him. But how many Canadian drivers are there in F1?
We don't need to talk about him. He doesn't exist.
Who? Latifi.
Which one?
Latifi did well
Latifi.
last week. Apart from the race, qualifying they did well.
Yeah, he did.
Okay,
He
you
got
get points.
good,
You get points for qualifying.
Listen. He reps the six, man.
You doing that?
He got a phone call from Drake in it. Just he's repping, man. Let him just do his thing, man.
He doesn't exist as far as I'm concerned. Like,
No, Mazepin don't exist.
I don't-
You gave him a bloody award for finishing.
So
the race.
Mazepin there for
Might give him
entertainment
job of the day.
purposes. Mazepin's here for entertainment purposes. He's
I
able
don't
to
think
be the same.
Latifi races. Does Latifi race?
Latifi.
I don't
listen.
see him on my TV.
Do you know why Latifi? It's an invisible dot. Man, don't see it on the map at all.
I don't see him.
They just post his
You
time.
can't
It's
really
like
put him on fraud watch if you don't rate him. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't
Listen,
make any sense.
No. Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Listen.
I just wanted to bring up the point that there's actually 2 Canadian drivers in F1, and we can't even.
One of them is
I don't think
heavily
I've even seen
underrated.
his face yet.
One of them is heavily underrated. His name's Stroll. The other is just here with 30 mil from his dad. But that I'm gonna one final point. Kwame, who do you think is gonna win the race?
I'm going with Hamilton. I'm going to stick with Hamilton, man.
Okay. Hamilton Hive, we're here, man. It's gonna be a busy one. It's gonna be a busy one. So
Well,
yeah,
that's
that's all we have time for. That's all we have time for this week. Thank you to Nam, Kwame, Martin, and Richard for joining us this week. Don't forget to like and just subscribe to the YouTube. You can watch the whole pit stop videos on there, and make sure you leave a comment. We want to hear you guys' comments, whether it's on Twitter at us. Let us know what you think about the pod. Any topics we need to cover, and on the YouTube, just hit us up in the comments as well. So we'll be back next week with our post-race review of Portugal Grand Prix. So we'll see you then. Peace.
Peace, guys.
See you later, guys.
In a bit.